satisfaction to go with the Canadians. Canadians playing from left to right as that's pumped all the way into the corner. Nashim, one of the goal scorers in the first game, feeds it up to Pushnik. Try to get back over the blue line for Beek. Right in front, the one-timer there from Sanderson is goal number 1 for the Canadians.
Pat Verbeek, a known playmaker in the NHL, makes the most of this opportunity. The Austrians unable to clear. He feeds the puck over to Jeff Sanderson, who neatly puts that past the goaltender.
Sutnik beaten for the first time in this one, but it won't be the last time.
Canadians a little bit too quick for the Austrians up front. Canada, as I said before, have got guys with wheels.
Arnott goes into the face-off circle, looking to try to get it back to Dulles as Correa works out there with him. This Paul Correa is just a wonder boy, only 5'9", and fed right through. Richardson looking for something to happen in front. Racine can't get a handle on it. And Stéphane Fizet is...
The Austrians putting a couple of passes together, coming down the ice. Fizet gets a piece of it.
That in. Loose puck bobbles away from the Canadians. Lansinger. Shot deflected away as the Austrian... As I said, we're taking a look at the highlights of this game between Canada and Austria played earlier on. Shot eventually ends up on Emerson's stick, and he puts it behind Sutnik.
The Austrians just not quick enough to react. Emerson putting a lot of pressure on, the puck going back to Racine. Racine directs it to the net. The first save is there, but Nelson Emerson very alertly pounces on the puck and has the second Canadian goal.
The Canadians, like one or two other teams in the competition, are waiting for other players to come over from the NHL. A shot coming in from Jason Arnott.
Very solid.
Austrian team is going to be a pushover, but they're a very physical, hard-hitting team. What they lack in probably basic skills, they make up for in enthusiasm and hard work.
You're exactly right, Paul. When the Brits play the Austrians, that is going to be a bruiser of a game. Both teams really like to play the physical game.
Still action in the first period here down the other end of the rink, and young Paul Correa picks up his first goal of the game.
Nifty little forward Paul Correa, who had so many options after the Olympic Games, elected not to go to Anaheim. Had a trip out there, took a good look around, saw the figures being offered, and I'm sure will put on an Anaheim shirt next year. Could have gone back to the University of Maine to help them in their quest for a national title, but has elected to come here with Team Canada. I'm sure that George King and Tom Rennie aren't unpleased with that decision as Correa puts the third goal in the net. George Kingston and Tom Rennie, being the coaches of the Canadian team, have put this team together much like the American side, who have had players coming out of various clubs and teams around the country to come together for this World Championship tournament.
Well, the Canadians scored 3 goals in the first period, and that's all the scoring there is. Almost right at the whistle, the goaltender goes in. Shot upstairs, and Stéphane Fizet hangs on to that. So a good score line for the Canadians, 3-0. Some positive play from them, and not a bad performance from the Austrians.
The Austrians, knowing they were the underdogs, just coming out, trying to grind it out.
There was no scoring in the second period, so we now move on to the third. As I said a couple of times, we're watching the highlights of this game between Canada and Austria played earlier, and we are not attempting to. We know dominated the first, unable to pick up points in the second, made up for it in the third. Korea again involved in the action. He scored the last goal in the first and the first in the third.
Spin around shot by Arnaud. Korea always around the goal, not very big, but hit him if you can. Gets a lucky break as Shea's skate appears to get in the way. Sutton once again forced to pull the puck out of the back of the goal as the Canadians have their fourth goal of the game.
Arnaud was wide open. If it hadn't gone in, it would have come his way, and Arnaud on goal. This time he sets it up, and that's number 5. Sitter was involved. Arnaud was out there.
What else can you say about this guy, Korea? He's got 2 goals in the game, and he plays provider there. A nice touch by Brindamore to put that one away. Sutton looking like an octopus on the ice.
Power play situation with the Canadians in control here. 5-0 the score, and still a lot of time to play in the hockey game. Brindamore, it's number 1 for them. Manfred Muir lets the slap shot go.
Blake having a chance of his own at one end of the ice, trying to get back into the play. Rob Blake takes his man out, but Muir cashes in as he's the guy left there. Gets the shot away. Fize is beaten.
The Austrians continued to apply the big shot there from Sakic. Canadians playing at full strength with Blake throwing it up, and Ricci working with Robitaille. Robitaille taken out of the play and then getting a chance, just misses the top of the net. But for most of the
game is just to try and bump and grind.
Gives you a chance to see the moves that Brindamore coming way back to his own goal to trying to set up a shot on goal. Haven't gone live with them yet, and I'm looking forward to the time when we do. Doyle, another Doyle from behind the net, and again it's Brindamore. Brindamore looking for a rest now as he gives it to Korea. The pass up the middle. Gunther, the big Austrian defense, really don't know how to complete it. They flip it in and they very rarely get to it. They're flipping it in against defensemen who are a lot. Excellent stuff by the Canadians. This time it's Shane Corson moving in on goal. We're coming now to the final 4 minutes of a hockey game. Canada gradually putting their game together out there. Remember, a lot of these guys have come from different teams. Jane Corson having a good shift. Burton eventually getting in to try to break it up. That failed. The backhander was held by Sutnik. It does take a while.
A lot of the European teams have had a few friendly matches in the past few weeks. The French, the Austrians, the Russians have had a couple of games. You're right, Paul. The Americans, the Canadians.
And Sweden against Finland. That'll be the top game of the day.
The British learned a lot against the Russians. It's going to be a grinding game for them. The Germans are a tough team, but they're a new team as well, having replaced a lot of the veteran players with some young guys, so that'll be a good game.
Embarrassment of making a mistake on that one.
It's just what I like about you. You're always covering up for me and making sure that I don't get in a bad situation. Thanks a lot.
I don't want you to get any adverse fan mail out there. We're still watching the highlights of this game. Don't ask me why. 5-1 is the score, with the Canadians going up and down the ice against the Austrians. Nothing really much happening out there, but it is a game that has been played in the World Championship, and we are happy to bring it to you. And that's number 6. And number 3 for Paul Kariya. This guy seems to get better and better the more we see him. The 6th goal against Sutnik. Kariya strategically placed, puts it upstairs.
Canadians controlling once again. The puck is thrown across nicely. Number 18 giving Kariya the pass. That's Nelson Emerson. Kariya putting it away very easily for Canada.
George Kingston in the background really doesn't give much away, but he must be happy that his team is heading for its 2nd consecutive win. The Austrians, after a strong performance against the Germans in that 2-2 scoreline, know now that they've been in a hockey game. It's to set up another one. After seeing them today, the Finns and the Swedes are always there. The Czechs got by the French, but they have a very they look very sharp. So those are the teams that I feel will go through to the final 8.
There's a lot of talent in these games for these clubs.
Last minute of play, 6-1 the score. The Canadians almost number 7, but that didn't happen. Sanderson went in quickly, thought he had a goal. Some good stuff by Ricci. Sanderson, but it really wasn't to be. Continuous pressure right up until the final buzzer. Knows that the Canadians are just that bit too stay up in the competition in Pool A. But who goes down to an excellent crowd turned out to see this one. Final shot on goal right at the buzzer, but the final score 6-1. The Canadians with a good performance over the Austrians. And that's the way it ends for this game. We're going to have some more highlights in a moment. Great Britain against Russia, and then France against the Czech Republic. Great Britain and Russia was a game that was played earlier on today. A lot of interest in Great Britain, as you would expect. It's their first time in over 30 years in Pool A. They've come from Pool D in 5 years to Pool A, and they had a lot to prove.